You can see the reflection looks pretty clean, especially for it to be just out of the booth. This will all have to be polished, but you can see me in it, so that's good. The front bumper obviously has not been painted. I had to wait for some stuff to cure down there. Overall, it's pretty good. This would be a great base for building our livery. Or, you know, if the next person just wants to keep it white, they can pull all the stickers off and keep it white. But I think it's going to look really cool once the livery's on. So you'll notice I have the big wheels on the front and the stocks on the back. I've got to radius those fenders out before I can move it around with the big wheels on the back. So I've still got to cut some more material away from there, which will happen very soon. And then I'll throw the big wheels on. All right, so the next step is I'm going to clean up in here a little bit and set up some tables and stuff so that I can paint my fenders. So I have my parts in the shop now. This is obviously just a table that I covered in plastic. I thought I had another one, but I don't. So I built a table out of a sheet of MDF that I had and some sawhorses. All of this stuff has been blocked down. It's all in pretty good shape. It's not all 100% trimmed, so I'm gonna have to trim some of it after it's painted, which is a little bit nerve-wracking for me, but we're gonna do it. I think it'll be okay. And it all looks pretty good. It's almost ready for paint, but I want it to match the exterior perfectly. So it really needs another coat of primer, of that light gray primer that I use on the car. So I created this little plate right here to go over all my rough cuts from when I opened up these grills. I filled this in with some seam sealer and smeared it out. And then I just got done sanding it, and I think it came out pretty good. It's pretty smooth. I think it's gonna look good. This whole section I think is gonna be painted black anyway, so that should hide. If it doesn't, I'll just buy an RS4 bumper. I know a lot of you guys want me to do that anyway, but I really want to go down this road and just see how it works. If it's a custom bumper, then you know that's cool. That's something that Built does. And here's a good lesson of automotive customization. There's always more work than you think there is. So I cleaned out all the bolt holes, meaning where there was Bondo and stuff in them. You can see I just kind of cut out these rivet holes. I'm getting pretty good at that, so that wasn't really nerve-wracking like it was last time. While I was doing that though, I found some separation here. I don't know if I didn't prep this surface underneath or what, but this is just, you can see it's just not even connected. Ugh, it looks like a big piece. Like a big piece. Jeez. This is heartbreaking because it's time, but you don't want that kind of stuff, you know, coming back to haunt you after paint. Okay, I think that's as far back as it goes. I can't get any of this other stuff to chip. Just going at it with a screwdriver, and it feels good. I gotta see if this is gonna come off. So it could have been worse. I'm gonna try to just feather this down. It's a huge step, but I'm gonna try it. If that doesn't work, then I'll add material. Good news, bad news. Good news is everything's sanded and ready for primer. Bad news is it took me a little bit longer than I thought it was going to. It's like 11:45 now. And, well, I have an issue. My gun isn't working. So, I've had a lot of problems this week with the paint job. Just getting everything together. And I'm tired. Okay. Everything's sanded, everything's ready to be painted. I fixed the issue that I had where it was separating on that fender. It's all fixed. I fixed it with fiberglass, no Bondo, which is really good. It's a little more durable and it's a little bit better at sticking to itself, if that makes sense. So that's all fixed and sanded and smooth, ready for primer, which is awesome. The bumper is smooth and sanded, ready for primer. I had to sand off the paint because it was on the car when I painted it. And the little spats on the rear are sanded and ready for primer, but my gun is not. All right, all the parts are ready. All my repairs have been done. I had to repair the side skirts as well. I didn't video it. It was pretty boring, but they're done and they're ready. I got this, an actual primer gun. I don't know why, but like every time I've sprayed primer, it's been with a siphon feed. So I decided to get one, and the tip size was right. So, you know, it works out. So I'm going to spray primer with this. I'm spraying it on pretty thick, so it's going to take about a day to dry because it's freezing cold outside. And then I'll come back tomorrow and sand it. It's been 24 hours since I sprayed this. Everything looks pretty good. I'm going to touch up some areas, I think, just to make sure these things are perfect. The MR2 had some spots that weren't great. I just painted them anyway, and it looks fine, honestly. Even when you're up closer, it looks okay with paint on it, but it could look better. And so with this one, I'm going to go through and find every little imperfection and blemish, sand it down, fill it, sand it again, prime over it, and then we'll be ready to paint. So what I'm going to do today, while I've still got daylight, I'm going to go through and find all those spots, block these things all the way down, and then fill in some areas that are kind of bugging me a little bit. I don't think you're supposed to fill over primer, so I'll sand the primer off where I want to fill, and then fill in over the top of them. And then I'll let that cure while I'm at work, and then I'll come back, sand those down, and I think I'll be able to spray these things tonight by like midnight. This is so dumb. Anyway, I'll be able to sand them tonight, or paint them tonight. So we'll paint them and then hopefully be done with them, be cured, sometime tomorrow. So pretty excited. We're going to get them out in the sunlight. We've actually got sun again. I think all of the rain has fallen out of the sky forever. So hopefully we'll have sun for a few days. Cool. All right, let's do it. Here we go. Sit down. Sit down. Here, sit. Sit down. Mommy's coming back. Sit down. Come here. Sit down. Sit. Watch. Here we go. Whoa. Here we go. Whoa.
Say no worries, guys. It's just our driveway.
All right, so I didn't want to bore you guys with sanding, so I went ahead and did the Bondo spots while the camera was off. Basically, when I put all the light primer on there, I was able to see a bunch of little air pockets and stuff from Bondo or from fiberglass or whatever. So I went back and sanded those as much as I could and then laid in some Bondo, and this is what we're kind of left with. So you can see there's just some small spots, very, very small amount of Bondo that I used and got them filled. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go over them with a primer and let the primer dry, and then we'll be ready for paint. Okay, so the parts are completely prepped and ready. Finally, I did do the rest of the body filling and primer, and they really look good. I mean, they're super smooth. I'm really happy about it. So it's finally warm enough to paint. I was going to paint 2 days ago, but it's been like 30 degrees outside, and paint in cold weather, you can do it, but it's really difficult and you run into a lot of issues. I just didn't want to have to sand and respray. So it's about 50 degrees today, which I've painted in 50 degrees before. When I painted the car, it was actually about this temperature. So I feel pretty good about it. I'm going to lay base coat down, let it cure, and try to get clear coat on before I go to work so it'll have time to kind of dry before it gets too cold tonight. So it's a time game. So I'm just going to put it on time lapse and I'm going to start working. Alright, so these things finally cured. They're ready to be put back on the car now. Unfortunately, because of all the weather stuff and it being so cold, I'm way behind schedule of where I wanted to be because I have to work this weekend. So I'm not going to get to put the whole kit back on the car, but I thought it'd be kind of cruel to just paint it and not show you guys what it looked like. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw on the driver's side fenders and maybe the driver's side skirts just to show you guys kind of what it looks like. And then the next video that I do, I'll be trimming everything out. There's a lot of stuff you're gonna notice that needs to be finished when I put the kit on, and I get it. It'll happen. But I'm going to trim everything out next week and get everything kind of finished up so it's fully mounted and done. Like, done. Overall, it looks pretty good. Could have body worked them a little bit better, I think. But I'm learning. So I think for what it is, I'm pretty happy with it. There it is. The wide body kit is on the car and it looks really good. There's some stuff that you're gonna notice, like some gaps and stuff that I'm going to take care of, so no worries. If you haven't already commented about it, just don't. The gap between the fender and the side skirt is gonna be taken care of, and then the door gap is a little bit misaligned, so I'll fix that as well. I've already got ways to do that, so we'll fix that. But overall, I think it looks really awesome. I'm not a big fan of well nuts, come to think of it. Like, I told some of you guys on Instagram that I liked them, that's what I was using on this car, and I really hate them. So rib nuts are what I'll use next time, or maybe I'll just mold the kit in because I don't really like rib nuts either. But for now, we're gonna stick with what we got and keep on moving. Everything works properly, all the doors open properly, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stop here. I'm losing daylight, I've gotta work this weekend, so I'm not gonna be able to really do a lot of work on the car in the next couple days. And we'll pick back up next week. And what we're going to work on next week is kind of trimming everything out, getting it ready to be welded. So we are going to weld up the rear tubs and trim out all this stuff that's in the way of the tires from turning and moving up and down and everything like that. We're going to adjust the suspension a little bit and get it ready to be driven on the road. So that's what we're going to do next week. And we're going to go ahead and finish out the body kits to get it all completed. If I end up doing that and it doesn't take as long as I think it's going to take, then I'll go ahead and start on the vinyl wrapping as well. Oh, there's a deer over there. No joke. Look at that. Can you see it? Huh. Oh well. Anyway, so next week I'm going to work on that, try to get it into wrap, and then once it's wrapped, I mean, we'll be ready to give it away. So as far as the giveaway goes, I will kind of reveal that process and the rules for it when the car is finished. I want to make sure the car's done, so we kind of have like a really distinct timeline of how long I'm going to allow entries, how long it's going to take for you guys to vote, and all of that cool stuff. So once the car's done, I'll make a video. There's more deer. This is crazy. Look. There they go. Live in Alabama. Anyway, I'll make a video explaining all that, so you won't miss the giveaway. So don't worry about it. You're not gonna miss it. It'll be all over YouTube. It'll be all over my Instagram. But it's coming really, really, really soon. I'm super excited about it. I've got a few more things to do on this car that I don't know if I'm gonna film. I've got some interior stuff I've got to do. You guys on Instagram know about some of that. Just to kind of get it cleaned up. I got some audio stuff that I'm definitely not gonna film. I'm just gonna try to get that over with as fast as possible. And then we'll be ready to go. So if you guys aren't yet, go ahead and follow me at Built on YouTube on Instagram. That's where I'm posting kind of daily stuff on this. So you guys that have been following me have seen me like painting these things, and you watched through the paint job and stuff like that of the car. I'll be doing that continually with this build and with the next build. So if you aren't following me, go ahead and follow me if you want to be more involved in what's going on this channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you soon.
Underwater.
A water tank?
Need to underwater.
Okay.
Kind of take.
Uh-huh.
Need to underwater and then a take.
What, with Zuma?
And you just swim, a swim, and not
No, you don't need to fall down.
And you don't need to.